Build your houses faster or you're all gonna die of exposure. Come on. Okay, 3 people chose to live in that house. So hopefully several will live in these houses, and I think we might want to make another house. Let's make one more house. Let's see. What do we want it to look like? Well, we better rotate it around. Hmm. I think this is the same house as that one. I want to match. We'll make this little log cabin looking place. There we go. The builders will bring materials down and make the foundation, and then they'll come back and they just sit there and, I don't know, saw and hammer until the house is finished. I am going to speed them up now because this is torturously slow. I find that 5 is kind of normalish. If you look now, people are walking around like they're normal. They're not creeping along anymore. House is getting built. I really do think 5 is normal speed, whereas 2 is slightly faster than creeping along, and 1 just creeps along. They are just so slow. Now let's click on somebody. We have Sana. She's just a child. Her age is 0, but she's pretty tall and she's walking around, so I think she's going to be a pretty strong little 0-year-old. This one's 3. And I think the most shocking thing about this game is their ages when they mature. This one's 17, so that's not bad. And that one's 18. But some of them, I I have noticed when it says up here, so and so just became an adult and has now began working as a laborer. And I look at that person and they're like 10. So I'm like, wait, a 10-year-old is an adult and now they're working? Okay. So that's not the case so far, but I have seen it. And then we've also seen households where there's a 14-year-old and a 10-year-old and then there's a child. So the medieval days, guys, what are you going to do? I don't know. I just know that apparently they mature really quickly in this game. So, yeah. I like that most of mine seem to be at least close to adult. Well, see, there you go. Delando is 12 and he's a laborer and he's considered an adult. And he's out gathering some stone, it looks like. Nope, a tree. My bad. He's chopping down that little bitty tree. Which he didn't even get any logs for. Well, Delando, you need to turn that tree into some tinder. Come on. Okay, so I'm going to turn him off and then. Okay, so yeah, seems boring, I know. At this point, you're just waiting for them to gather materials and build stuff. But all in all, this game is fun. I would recommend it. I like city builder games. I don't know what your preferences are, but I love city builder games. And I like the medieval times for, the novelty and the history, that kind of thing. I mean, I'm not thrilled about the 10-year-old being in a thing, but that could just be, their opinion of how it went back then. It's not necessarily how it happened. And if it is, well, that's history. I don't know enough about the medieval days to know that for certain that's what happened. Come on, click. I'm having issues clicking now. I am lagging, apparently. It's not running as smoothly now that I've got fraps on. Come on. There we go. You can click on this and it will cycle through who you have as farmers, which I would love to show you, but it's not working. There we go. Alright, so we have Liliana, and she is 15 and she is a farmer and she's working. Let's see if I can get the other one. Yep, okay. Tristan Ford sounds like it should be a town and not a guy, but he's a farmer and he's 19. So they're happily growing some squash for us so that by fall, hopefully, we will have some food. I'm thinking about making a second farm back there behind there simply because I know my people are going to starve to death if I don't get them a lot of food. And the fisherman is still not built, so I can't make any fishermen. Get closed. My goodness. Okay, so yeah, once the fisherman is built, this will come up to four. You can have four fishermen. I'm not entirely certain of how much faster four fishermen is from two. In part of my games, I've of the two I've played already, I've had two fishermen out of four, and I've made plenty of fish, but they don't starve to death if I put four. So, um, yeah. I mean, I haven't had anybody starve to death. The only death I have had in either of my other two games was in person to work in the stone quarry because I couldn't really spare anyone else. I had them all doing food and wood and logs and stuff like that. Fire logs. I mean, you get logs and then you get firewood. I mean, see here, firewood and then logs. So I had everybody gathering materials that by the time I got the quarry up, I only could really spare one person. So I put her to work, and I had one laborer left who was removing trees and stone and iron and stuff. And my stone cutter went and got a rock fall on her head or something. It said, so and so was killed by falling rock. And then a second later it said, so and so, my laborer, has replaced her, at the dead girl, as stonecutter. And I don't know if it was because it's a random accident. It could be one of those disasters that I turned off in this game. If it was a disaster, then I totally understand because I did leave those on, and that would make sense. A disaster happened. She got a rock fall on her head and died. But if it wasn't a disaster, it might have been because I only had one person working in that stone quarry and she didn't have anybody helping her and a rock fell on her head. So, I mean, if it's that, then, I'm really worried. Do I have to have more than one person? And so there is that to be aware of. A rock did fall on her head and killed her, and it was tragic. It was so tragic, I had to build a cemetery because everybody was sad. This is the dirt path. It's got a little gravel or something on it. I actually really like how they make the path. The cobble path is cuter, obviously. I mean, it's got stone brick and stuff going on. They're making the road out to the fishermen. Looks like they got the fishermen up. Almost done. Forgot how to rotate my screen. It's a key, not a mouse thing. So I'll probably chop down those trees and show you that way. Here, guys, come chop down these trees. We want to see my fishermen. Excuse me. And now there's a question mark above it because it's ready to be built, but there's nobody working here. And you can see that it's 04. Now I do need a lot of food, so for right now I'm going to put 3 fishermen to work. I know it says I've got 1134, but trust me when I say they will go through that very quickly. So right now all we have is those potatoes that we started with. I don't know why you can't use the potatoes to build another farm. You should be able to plant potatoes if you have potatoes. Plant those potatoes in a field and make more potatoes, but thus far I have been unable to do that. My stockpile is getting a little full. But that's a good thing because we're going to use it. And now we got to start building our other things. So This is the barn. This is the storage stockpile. This is a market, and normally I would like my market to be very central, but this market is massive. I'm not, well, maybe, I was going to say I'm not sure it'll fit here, but it looks like it might. I might have left enough room for it this time, so that's pretty cool. On my easy game, there was no way I could fit it in there. It just, the houses are already built for you.